I was hired number 3 and have built and scaled what was a podcast into a multifaceted worldwide brand that is now the second largest show in the world. You know, this isn't Steven Bartlett like it is now. This was Steven Bartlett who hadn't started Dragon's Den. He hadn't written his first book yet. The Diary of a CEO had 8,000 YouTube subscribers. I was 24 when I started working with Steve. And he put a job post out on LinkedIn. And it wasn't like a formal job post. It was very much a post written out on LinkedIn. I'm hiring. I want a social media manager. He was very early to this concept of personal branding. I actually don't think it was even a term at that point. It was kind of brand building or personal social media. And the reason I was able to get in front of him above the thousands of applications, I was already building a portfolio through the Social Climber. And it was what I consider my digital evidence, my digital CV, that meant I could send a link and go, look, here's what I do. Do you like it? If you like it, let's work together. So I didn't have to do much convincing. I didn't have to write a cover letter. I didn't have to share my CV. So I had evidence that I knew what I was talking about and I could back myself in that process. So I connected with Steve over LinkedIn. 2 weeks later, I was in the office. We didn't know what was right and what was wrong. We knew that if we wanted, you know, if we think about instinctual behaviors, like we knew we wanted people to consume this thing. If you wanted people to consume a movie, you produce a trailer. So that was kind of how we went in. And I think naivety is a superpower, but that's a separate topic. We were a group of 3 of us who'd never produced a podcast before. But ultimately, I think we doubled down on content. We sweat every detail to the point where most people would think we're like completely insane, from the scent when you walk in, to the music that's playing, to the baton pass that happens, everyone knowing exactly what role they're doing and how they contribute to this piece of work at the end, and having that responsibility on their shoulders. We've always seen it as a show, and having that video and that element of visual means you can show up on different platforms that do enable discoverability. So it's a funny one because we've never called the Diary of a CEO a podcast because we've always seen it as a video first format. And there was this like phase where people called them vodcasts and all of these things, but we've just been like, we're a show. We see this thing going on Netflix one day, so we're always going to treat it like that. It's how we were able to get onto airlines before anyone else. It's how we were able to go onto BBC iPlayer and all these different distribution platforms. And I do think it all comes back down to that mindset of we're going to do this our way and not the blueprinted way. So we were like, if we care more than anyone else, we're probably going to be all right. I think he really values that I'm willing to tell him when I disagree with him. Sometimes it's, back and forth and we're butting heads a little bit, but we get to a really like beautiful conclusion because we've had like creative and data-led disagreement, I guess, that brings us to a really nice place. I will find a solution. Like, I'm a very solution-driven person. So we're going to figure out how to do this extraordinary influencer campaign next week with no budget. And we're going to get 90% of the influencers to open that. Like, that's a real life scenario. Like, I could list and list and list the scenarios. I did also take a risk. It's funny because now everyone, I will dream to work with Steven Bartlett. It's amazing. And don't get me wrong, everything we've created together has been incredible. And it's been the best fast-tracking learning journey of my entire life, probably. We've really like mastered this blueprint of how to get people to buy into our brand. And the reality is all of the work happened about a year before we released that product. It was the investment into really adding genuine value to these people. So we didn't follow a rule book or a playbook. We based a lot of our development of that marketing funnel in first principles, like the first principles of human behavior. How do you get someone to watch something? I think that's what's allowed us to be so successful, is because we didn't have podcast expertise in the team. So we were never like walled in or narrowed down to what success could look like.